That's it, everyone. The dreaded move-in episode of the Sammy Hutt Show. Yeah, time to pay our landlord our rent. That's a great feeling. There goes my hard-earned money going to someone else. Nice. Right now, I already have some of the stuff already packed, along with some spare Home Cheapo boxes. We got a lot of stuff to pack up, so I'm going to give you guys the rundown on what's going on. We are packing up the kitchen, the bedroom, or the bed, the dresser, all my art from my room, all of it, the TV, the bonsai plants, my computer, and of course all the magic in the closet. And who can forget the podcast studio? Now, I don't think I've ever actually shown you guys, and the surfboards, but I don't think I've ever shown you guys the actual podcast studio, but this is it. I jerry-rigged everything together and made it work, so kind of sad to see the memories die, but that's what it is. Anyways, it's getting late tonight, so I'm gonna get ready for bed. But before I went to bed that night, I decided to go outside one last time and enjoy the stars and the moonlight. I realized that this might be one of the last times I'll be able to see the actual moon at this location, so I might as well enjoy it. Today is Wednesday, and we are dropping off some chairs, rugs, and tables. Here you guys can see the studio being officially set up, got the rugs down, got the table set up, and we are back at the house, and it is time to pack up the studio. Table, cloths, cables, everything. When I first decided to set up the studio, I wanted some sort of backdrop. I didn't really know exactly what I was gonna do, so I figured that black tarps would be a play. So, like a dope, I decided to order some expensive, sort of like cloths online, some blackout curtains, but I only realized later on that those curtains are just too expensive and not wide enough. So for anyone wondering, I got these black tarps from Target for like $2 a pop. I just bought a bunch of those. Now, what I did for hanging them up was I bought a cheap sort of like railing system. That right there is a curtain rod I bought also at Target for like $3. And I did the studio in my unfinished basement at the time. Well, my dad's unfinished basement. So I was able to put up those 2x4s to sort of mount the rod. Yeah. As you guys can see, that black cable hanging right there is actually the HDMI mini cable for the camera. Now, for anyone using an older style camera to ever record any sort of podcast stuff, you're going to need equipment like this. It's also important to try and, like, organize your setup. If you're going to do, like, an actual studio, make sure you, like, have a plan, because I definitely spent a little bit more than I needed to at the time for the studio, and it wasn't even that good, to be honest with you guys. Not saying I wasn't proud of it, but, I mean, I could have done better, you know? Yeah, I used an Elgato recording device for the HDMI Mini, and right now we are currently packing up all the equipment from the studio, including the headphone amp, the speaker amp, the actual microphone stand itself with the microphone. It was a lot, you know. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, like, putting everything away versus, like, when you set it up the first time. It's the first time you don't know how you're gonna set it up, but when you're putting it all away, I mean, it's definitely a weird feeling, you know? Taking away the headphones, slowly removing everything. It's definitely a weird feeling, man. Definitely a weird feeling. It's kind of funny though, this is my first time I ever really set up a recording studio, I guess maybe a podcast studio. Some things I've kind of learned from experience though is, for one, like I said earlier, make sure you have a plan in mind. So I had sort of like an idea, but I didn't really know where I was heading with it all. Some things that I would change about it is I would skip on the background TV, I would have fixed the lighting, and I would have done like a green screen setup instead, like an official green screen setup, because I tried doing sort of like a makeshift green screen setup, but something I realized is you really need that dark green color in order for programs to really be able to track the green screen behind you. It can't be turquoise, it can't be teal, it needs to be green. So I think spending that extra cash would have been well worth it for doing the whole setup itself. Another thing, like I said, the lighting, as you guys can see, the lighting has always been touching the TV. And I know that some of even my most loyal viewers probably notice it, and I'm sorry about the quality, so the next podcast episode will definitely be a little bit different. No background TV. Lighting will still be alright, though. I have some ideas on how I'm going to do the lighting now. Yeah, that wasn't even my TV to begin with. It was my sister's TV. I stole it from her room. Oh, man. Yeah, as you guys can see, this really was a basement setup. I just always made it look... I can't even say professional. I just made it not look like a complete basement, but... I don't know, thankfully with my skills and tools, I was able to at least somewhat make it not look like an unfinished basement. But as you guys can tell, no, this really was... I mean, this was the idea, you know? This is how ideas start. This is where it all begins. That's what it is, man. This is where it all starts. It begins. I guess when you first time really doing something like this, you kind of learn about how you gotta, like, develop your skills. Whether it be, like, rough, whether it be finish, whether you have experience or not. I mean, my biggest takeaway is that there's some people out there on, like, YouTube, for example, where their first YouTube videos get, like, I don't know, around like a few 100K subscribers, and that's just because of production. Production. If you really want to get up there, you need to have good production. Now, I know right now, the microphone quality's kind of shit, the video's kind of loose, but this isn't really a big Sammy Hutt pivotal moment. This is more of me just, I guess ranting about it all, you know, just ranting about all the work I put in for this, and it's gotta go in retirement. Thankfully, I was able to scavenge some of the gear I have, like the LED lighting. I still have the tarps, I'll be able to use those. I still have the main equipment, but I guess a lot of the time I put in for using or putting up the stuff is what was really wasted. Same with those diffusers. I got to use those diffusers like 5 times, and now I have to get rid of them. What a fucking waste. Yeah, man. But, I think I'm gonna be quiet for the rest of this and just kind of let you guys see what the experience was of me putting up the studio and how I was doing it, so enjoy. You know, I thought I was gonna have some sort of crazy, like, comeback video or some sort of big, you know, heavy edit, but instead I decided that I just wanted to show you guys what I was doing this whole time, what the whole moving process is and what it was for me. This is my first time actually moving out, and I guess really my first time breaking down the studio fully to transfer it to somewhere else. It was a lot. You know, there's a lot of steps in the process, because I spent a lot of time setting it up to begin with. It was a little bit difficult to do, but I was listening to a lot of stuff at the time, trying to learn some new things, some new skills. And something that I learned about doing this is, I think next time when I do like an actual podcast studio, I'm gonna definitely go a more legitimate route about it. I'm definitely gonna spend an extra $1 or $2 and do some more professional equipment. Now, I know I said earlier I definitely spent a little bit too much for what it was, but at the time when I set it up, I was trying to go for more of like a DIY type of thing, but I think there's just certain times where you really want to invest. Spend good money once instead of wasting like half as much money twice. So there's a saying like that. I mean, it doesn't really go like that. And I thought, too, also, like, with this return video, it was going to be more of, like, a big, oh, I'm so back, oh, you know, this and that happened, oh, but, you know, instead it was more of me moving on, you know, moving on in the sense of a new chapter in my life. moving on in a sense that things are going to be changing in my life. You know, that old stability I had of being in my young 20s is gone now. I mean, I'm paying rent, I'm paying bills. Life's getting real in the process. All you can really do is move on with it, or, you know, get stuck in the same place. I think in some ways this change-up is going to be better for me, but it's kind of tough to tell to see where I'm going to be heading. All I know is for right now is that this video is just going to be more of me just kind of ranting on about what I was doing. Like, for example, here, I was taking out all the screws and the 2x4s, and just, like I said, breaking down the studio. So right now, we're finishing up taking down the 2x4s, and so we're going to be moving on to the studio lights. Alrighty, we got all the 2x4s holding the curtains down. Now it's time to deal with the lighting. So for the lighting setup, what I did was I actually hardwired from my electrical panel a GFI outlet for an extra outlet space and a specialty switch. It's a sort of dimmer style without the actual, like, dimmer button. It's all, like, touchscreen. Yeah, I added this all myself, threw it on a circuit breaker, just because I'm a licensed electrician. I have the knowledge on how to do it. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of cool being able to do your own sort of, like, electrical work. Right now I'm just double checking to make sure it's dead. But doing your own lighting for your own studio is kind of a cool feeling. I mean, I know that's what they do over in Hollywood, is they have, like, custom lighting, custom stuff. They don't just use, like, the ring lighting for everything. And, yeah, it felt a little bit serious with the lighting setup, although you guys are gonna see soon about, how I set up the light fixtures. Right now, we're pulling out the wire. Fun stuff, fun stuff. Right now, I am taking down the light fixtures, and I'm going to show you guys by what I meant by kind of a funky light setup. So, it wasn't actually like a light with like a pivot system on it. I actually just used long screws and added some sort of like spacers. Not even real spacers, just wire nuts, which is like how you cap electrical connections to make it safe. I just cut the ends off and threw my screws on because they're made out of plastic and it held it. But, yeah, definitely not the safest setup, but it was secured and it worked out. And, yeah, we did it. Unfortunately, though, with this new place I'm in, there's just no room for me to install these sort of light fixtures, so time to go in the garbage. Bye-bye. But they were cheap. Definitely not as expensive as, like, some quality grade ring lights or anything like that, but at least with the ring lights I would have been able to reuse and recycle them and just use them for other setups, but, you know, we'll figure it out next time. This is the thing. The first time when you set up a studio like this, you start to learn the ins and outs of the devices and what stuff is good for. Kia! Yeah, this part was funny. Almost fell backwards there. Yeah. That's it, really. Packing up everything. Time to throw it in the old trash bag and keep moving on with it all.
That's all she wrote. What can you do?